And are you refreshed? Now what? You are supposed to be less and less, yes? All of the questions are answered.
Hi.
Yeah?
Thrilled to be here. I just learned about you a few weeks ago. Yeah. And very clear, I had a pressing question that really kind of somehow led me to a link to the Abraham Hicks website. You know, since 2009, I was in an inquiry of how do I protect against the economic crash, right? So I've been doing all sorts of reading on economics and what do I have to be aware of? How do I prepare cash, gold, silver, all of that?
Gold sarcophaguses.
Yeah. No, I like that idea. Yeah. I want one right now. Yeah. Yeah. It was very clear all that noise was keeping me up at night.
Yeah.
And certainly holding me back from the real answer, which was quite extraordinary. As I read your books, it got me back into rereading all the Seth material, much of what I had first read when I was 16. But I had lost the way, so to speak. After listening to your materials, I slept with you at night. Literally 7 hours, put on the headphones and go to sleep listening to the material. I really got clear that all there was to do is change my feeling tone and the conversation, to start there.
Yeah.
And what's been extraordinary about it is how, I consider myself a pretty upbeat guy, but yet I am now very conscious of how I take myself down those rat hole feelings.
Yeah.
And the protection against the future is just altering that personally feeling tone, being conscious of the thoughts, and the right actions will always be there for me.
Well said. And the reason that what you said is exactly right is because all of your power, you've been reading Seth, so Seth said your power is in the present.
Right now.
Your power is in the present. So what that means is this present moment is where the vibration of you, from what you're focused on, and the vibration of your inner being is all happening right here. It's that convergence. How much of what you've been asking for are you allowing or letting in right now? That really is the only question that matters. What are you doing with this powerful now? Are you holding yourself apart from the resources that have been gathered for you, or are you allowing them in? And so recently, we'll be very brief about this because we want to hear you. We've been talking about when you are in your vehicle moving down the highway, you know what to do. It's intuitive at this point. You are instinctively knowing that you don't want to try to occupy the same space as another vehicle. And if there is a rumble strip on the side of the road and you feel your tires rumbling on it, you know what to do. You just correct your steering. You bring yourself back into your lane. And yet so often with thoughts, you feel the rumble strip, which is what negative emotion is, but instead of in the moment that you feel it being instinctive to just get back in your lane, often with thoughts, you think that you have more leeway. With the rumble strip, if you go too far, once you get all four wheels on the other side of that rumble strip, and then you get off into that grassy, muddy part, and then off the cliff, it's very time consuming to start over with a new body. In other words,
that momentum. Yeah.
And so the obvious point that we're wanting to make is that if you are tending to your emotional rumble strip, then when you first feel it, you do something about it rather than testing to see how far you can go before you try to bring yourself back into control. Yes. And so?
I think it's a muscle. So I'm here. When I've heard about your workshop, I wanted to come here and see what this is about because I haven't found a Seth-like personality since Jane died. I'm just thrilled to be here. I don't know that I have any other question other than to listen keenly.
We're happy that you've tapped back into your own guidance
Yeah,
system.
that's all.
And we want to remind you that you don't need a Seth or an Abraham
No.
or a Jane or an Esther, because you all are extensions of source energy, and you all have your own rumble strip that lets you know what you're doing. And if you're wise enough to care about feeling good, then you've got it made. And you are also wise. We like how quickly you came back to realizing that those guarded, fearful feelings about the future, you can't do anything about the past because you've lived it, and you can't do anything about the future because all of your power is in the now. But whether you're thinking about the past or the future, you're doing it now. So if you have worrisome thoughts about the future, then in your now, you're holding yourself off from that connection to the impulse to right place, right time, right idea, and so forth.